Hi, it's your GBA Arlen V. It has been a while. First, the restructuring, next, COVID, and now Google. All in less than 3 months. Whew, what a ride it has been. If you haven't already, let me tell you what happened lately. So, the developer submitted the new V1.04 build, got held up, received a letter from Google stating that we shouldn't be using Tama Droid and Droid Coin anymore as both are protected IPs under Android. Simply put, stop operating as such. I did some helping on the side. Blessed that we've got friends who referred us to the appropriate legal advisor. And not just an advisor, but one of the best in the world, specializing in intellectual properties. I was also invited to attend the team's special board meeting to discuss the options, which ultimately led to rebranding plans and hiring of a risk officer. They will show themselves soon. But it was a nightmare, I tell you that. Though I've seen it with my own eyes, how agile, competent, and collaborative the people inside the organization are. The restructured team knows what they're doing. And despite only having a handful of people, I thought they did their best with what they had. And that's more than enough for me. Guys, the project didn't raise a huge sum of money in the start to expand the team immediately and expedite the project plans. And I hope you are taking that into consideration when you assess the progress, including all the learnings along the way. They are doing their best with all the resources they have. And the big reason why they're banking on the fundamentals first is because it is the proven way of growing a company in a very much uncertain space we're operating. Plus, it'll be easier to raise money later when you have the fundamentals ready. So today, we're bringing the key members of the project who are working together and bringing you a fundamentally sound project. The stewards. First off, the lead dev himself, CEO Carl Bakongan. Tech, can you bring in Carl? Hi, Carl. It's a lazy weather here in London. I hope you're doing just fine. Let me go straight to my first question. I'm sure the devs are very busy changing all what needs to be done, all what needs to be changed, everything in the game. Can you walk us through that process so the uninitiated can appreciate the amount of work involved in the turnaround time? You're on mute.
Sorry. Hello, guys. Good evening. Yeah. Before I start answering your question, Arlen, I just want to tell the community that it's good to be here back again. It's been a while. Even if I'm not really comfortable doing a lot of podiums way back in the past. Honestly, I've missed doing this with the community. I've missed reconnecting with the community as well. So yeah, going back to your question. Yeah, it's been sorry for the term, but it's been hella struggle challenge that we had for the past months actually. um, I wish you were lazy, Arlan. I wish you were lazy, and I wish you could have like a really good night's sleep, right? But we're not. We've been awake for like almost 12 hours a day, and doing a lot of things, a lot of stuff with this pivot. First would be the restructuring of the team. Of course, we cannot do a restructuring of the team within a weeks or months, right? I mean, we're doing serious business, right? So there is a process, and along all the way, there is viruses, there is some hiccups, and then yeah, so both that affects the main business and the development of the game itself. I mean, they're all lined up, all together, stitched together. So if one thing is affected, the other thing is affected. So yeah, with the latest happenings in our lives, especially in our business, as Google hit us hard back, yeah, the whole team needs to be, needs to go back to drawing the board and line up everything needs to be changed. In order for us to proceed, what needs to be proceeded, right? Especially on a game development standpoint. First, we'll have to create a new game name since it's part of the rebranding. So since we're kind of resorting for a rebrand of the Tama Pets a while ago, but since yeah we had this a fresh start again for a rebrand, yeah we already also changed the name for the we also thought for a new game name. So yeah, so for before I go to the details, I'd like to share uh we'll be starting with one like a world. Like we have like a world wherein the lore would start in our game, and it's called Oporia. Um, so later on, it might have a spin-off related to a sandbox or Decentraland kind of game. So under that world, which is people will already know the Aporia, we have the Den Tamadroid now rebranded into a name called Spirits of Aporia. Yeah, and yeah, that's the new logo. That's our new logo, and I hope you like it, guys. Yeah, and then the second game that would be another spin-off under Aporia would be Den Tama Pets, and it will be called Beast Champions. There you go. That will be our new logo. Right. Why do we created the two spirit games under Aporia? Well, this was actually an idea long before it was Tamadil was created actually, and then but since having this opportunity, even if we struggled a lot, I mean, at some point, what happened to us gave us a blessing. It's just a blessing in disguise, right? They gave us a privilege or opportunity to press start. So so what do people can expect with those two spin-off games? Well, we will like create a mechanic that would really define multiverse and metaverse. So imagine that you're doing quests inside Spirit of Oporia, but you won't be able to finish it once you play, but because you need to play the Beast Champions as well. So it's one mechanic that we are already planning. I mean, it's already been documented with in our plans. So yeah, that's one thing that we could showcase to the people later on. Also, we're also planning a little bit of feature of VR and AR here and there. So imagine, like if you remember playing Monster Rancher and then you use your PlayStation CDs to hatch are then called Tamadroids. Yeah, remember that? Or I mean, are then called Monster Rancher monsters. So in our case, in our game, we'll have something or sort of a mechanic just like that. So it will be announced there on or in the next few podium or platforms there on. So next will be uh so okay, going back, the hardest part of developing the game right now is that the rebranding, because there's a lot of prints that will have to change, especially the so-called name Tama Droids and Tama Pets, the labels, and of course the logos, the art design that incorporates our old company name. So yeah, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them. Not just the game development side, but also the infrastructure of the whole game, like the Google licensing, yeah, our marketing, our branding kit, etc. There's a whole lot more of tasks that needs to be done. So yeah, pretty much not just the development team, but the whole company is really busy for the past weeks, and actually it's months because yeah, we've been doing a lot of things trying to do something that would secure not just us but the community as well, and even the product as well. So yeah, we might face some hiccups or trials or challenges along the way, but the good thing in our team is like we're very resilient, and we don't just give up that easily, right? So yeah, that's it for me. Chief.
Wow, exciting times ahead, Carl. And
Yeah.
if we rebranded from Tama Droid, the World of Aporia, to the Spirits of Aporia, which, by the way, you're saying there were going to be two games out of the previously Tama Droid World of Aporia, at least. So, what do you call the characters in the Spirits of Aporia now? And how can somebody have one?
Oh, good question, Arlan. Well, it's part of the rebranding. Like we have to change the terminologies inside the game as well. So from the then Tamadroid, we will call our Tamadroid now as Animus.
Emma.
Animus. I guess for the more in the details
Sorry,
about
Carl.
that, I
Can
guess
you
we'll
can you
have
spell that one out? Anima. Anima.
Anima. It's Anima.
Ah, all right. Okay. Anima.
Animas, yeah. We'll have maybe we can discuss more detail about the lore and the new terminologies later on. I guess for a separate podium or AMA something like that because there's There's a lot of things that we would want to show to tell the community about that, especially the lore. That is already pre-created by our good marketing officer, Rich Nicole. Yeah, he already shared to me a lot of the documents regarding to the rebranding related to the lore of the our rebranded game. So yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Okay, interesting. So, given the above process that you just mentioned, when do you think you could share with the community the next build, and what can our community expect from it?
All right. Yeah. With the with of course, I don't mean to be negative, but as for me, it's my own accountability that we have been. There's been a lot of delays for the past months or years of our past build, right? I'm accountable to that, and I admit that. I mean, because there's a lot of things along the way that is affected, that is being affected, the development side. All right. But yeah, we are thinking that somehow we could release we could choose some from the community as well, so that you could join test our dev build. I was thinking that we could do that. It's like because basically, since our project is still in alpha, but it does not really fall, or it does not really the community doesn't really understand what is an alpha stage. Even if I know we try to educate, or we try to tell the community what is an alpha stage, but since we are in a different eco space, this is a crypto space. We'll try to do something that would let some of the community knows that we are really doing a lot. We are doing something, because we cannot just release a game half bit,
Yeah,
right? It's an
yeah.
alpha, because it might affect our structure, it might affect our work for every day. But doing this plan that we will be choosing selected people from the community to test our developers build, for those people who really understand how the game developments work, or some people that would comprehend or understand that this is still a dev build. By that, they would know that developers, I mean, our progress before releasing the actual build to the community. As for the next build, actually, we will be releasing an standalone APK for now. Okay, I've seen some questions from the TG before and Facebook. They're asking why not we release an APK build before this happened. Well, there's a reason why. There are functionality inside our game that actually depends on Google services, in which we cannot release a standalone APK because that will not work. That's the reason why. But now, since we have this opportunity to rebrand and then pivot a lot of things inside the game, we'll be releasing a standalone APK without the Google Play services and Google Play functionality. And then we will think of something that would replace those Google Play services, especially the purchasing of the then called Tama capsule, which is now for now it's called capsule. I don't know. We will finalize the terminologies later on. So yeah, they could expect that we could release our next build somewhere around this March. But expect dev build will be released every week, but only those that we will be selecting. For those people
Okay.
that we will be selecting.
Right. So you mean the build as it is would have to be structured twofolds. Correct me if I'm wrong. One is going to be the
Mm-hmm.
dev build, which is being updated
Mm-hmm.
on a real time basis, where some of our
Yep.
community members could jump in and test the build on a live or real time
Yes.
basis. And then the build that is
Mm-hmm.
going to be released on a weekly basis
Mm-hmm.
would be different from the dev build that some of the
Uh,
members could jump in and test.
yeah, actually, the dev build would be actually we're planning to release it every week, but we will try also to release it every like any time of the day, because it's a developer's build. Anytime we think that this build needs to be tested, we will create an APK and upload it,
Uh,
and then those certain selected people will be able to play that as early as possible.
mm, okay.
It's easier than the reason is that it's easier to release it on a certain selected people, because we can easily isolate the problems. We can receive the feedback as early as possible before letting it
Oh,
out in the public.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this chosen few would have to be qualified then, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay. And we're going to come up with some communications about it in the community later on. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool. Okay. So Car, the revised roadmap for the game. When is it coming out? And I suppose the website is now being updated. Oh, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
created on
Mm.
another domain rather. Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah. All right. For the revised roadmap, we already have like as we already. I mean, I know we haven't released it to the public yet. About the Q1 and Q2 is already done. But since Google had this problem with us again, after we created the Q1 and Q2, we'll have to revise a little bit. But we will be releasing the revised roadmap somewhere around March. Uh, Not later than Q1, of course. So
Okay.
it's just up to March. And yeah, good news is that we already acquired the ownership of the new domain of spiritsophoria.com and then the beastchampions.com, including all their SSL certificates. So we already purchased those. And yeah, some maybe in a few weeks or a few days, you'll have like a simple landing page for the new game, something to look forward to. Uh, with regards to the pending task, we'll have to transfer or create a new forum for us. Wherein again, us devs and the people inside our new company will can communicate with the community as well. Again, I mean, yeah, we'll have to restart our forum again. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting. Thanks, Carl. I'm gonna have to put you in the lobby for the meantime to bring in
Thank you,
our next
Shirley. Thank you,
speaker,
guys.
CTO, Mr. Jonathan Teal. Hello, Jonathan. You're up very early today.
Hey,
Thanks for
Arlen, how
your.
are you, man? Good,
What
good.
is the time there?
It is 5:20 at the moment
Oh my,
a.m.
oh my. I
That's
hope
all
you
good.
got yourself a strong coffee because I'm gonna
I
throw
do.
you
I
some
do.
punches. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's let's go.
Okay. So how is this huge rebranding task going to affect the number one, the DRDC contract, and number two, the upcoming NFT smart contracts for the game?
Yeah, sure. I could highlight these things. First, shout out to all here. If anybody's here from the Telegram chat, hey guys. So the rebranding for all of that, I mean, it's not really a huge effect. The core functionalities, the plans for the tech, I mean, all that is still the same. No changes of the plans of any of that actually. If anything, we call things something else. And this is really syntactical. It doesn't have an effect on anything at all really. So a lot of changes like that, but they don't affect any of the functionality, tech plans, where we're trying to head, like with all of it, like this stuff, like was kind of said earlier. You know, this is almost like presented us a like opportunity to kind of do some stuff that's been chatted on. So yeah, we'll continue on with our tech plans and keep chugging along.
All right. Okay, maybe you could share with us the team's plans on the utility of the DRDC.
Sure. So to start, let's talk about the games. So in all of our games in Aporia, these in-game economies will be directly tied to DRDC, which is actually the like spendable like asset from all of this stuff, and used for purchases in game. So pretty much any of our in-game economies in Aporia, even though they may be separate, they'll all be basically a stable coin off of DRDC, which would be the spendable like asset from all of this. And taking it outside of that, It'll be a utility for these other projects that spring up. It's basically a intangible part of all of these arms of our company, starting with the games of Poria and the in-game economies.
Okay. Sounds like the team will implement a separate governance token later if DRDC will be used as the sole utility token. What would you call the governance token? What specific use or uses does the team have in mind, and perhaps a rough timeline of which?
Sure, you're a smart guy, man. You like come here well. Yes, yes, you heard something like that. That is correct. As we've said, we do, or like we are planning to give a lot of the control to the players through these DAO setups and staking and like literal staking of the company through a smart contract setup. So we are for sure heading with huge plans to give the players a lot of control in this decisions that happen. I know everybody is always excited about staking. That is for sure in our plans timeline. I mean, staking will be first, and it'll be like a DRDC staking, and then from there we're going to roll that into the more broad spectrum of like company staking, and we're going to come up with a system where through a token and a smart contract, you pretty much have like literal stake in a physical company. So I'm very excited to create that. I think it's going to be really cool. So again, we're all into having the players help. We're all about player suggestions. So this would be another like way that we can provide the players some like more hands in here. Timeline. Uh, we're definitely are things that are higher priority that we got to have out there to expand all of this stuff. But definitely by the end of this year, I see a lot of that in place. For sure, the staking, and then we just head from there.
Great, bro. Great, bro. I'm need to slide you back there for now and put the CMO Nicole in the spotlight.
Sure. All right, guys. Bye bye.
Hi, Pep. So, for everyone's reference, Nicole is Pep and Pep is Nicole. So, Pep, I'll go to my first question. Let's talk. I heard the team is planning to release a certain dev's diaries, like a documentation and a blog post about the game dev. How can these things help the team improve the communication of the dev's progress? Uh-huh. Um, okay, while we wait for... Oh, she's back. Oopsie. Yeah. So while we wait for Nicole, why don't we greet our community? Hi, Robin Ray, my good friend, as always. Hi, AJ Aquino, Max, tama? JP Ferreira Tandok, Michael Joseph Cross, Jason Pineda Cruz, Richie at Ching. Chris Jim Villasanta Mendoza. Good evening. Igu, I like the new names. Thank you. I like it as well. Spirits of Aporia. Yeah. Jello, Poblete Galang. It has been a while, my good friend. Chiron Mark Mora Somalino, good evening as well. Patrick Carlos, good evening. Prof. Burfy from our YouTube community is the Spirits of Aporia and the Beast champion or as one or separate game quests? I think I could answer this. They're separate. The big universal game would have to be called Aporia, and within the Aporia, inside the Aporia, you've got at least two games for now: the Spirits of Aporia and the Beast Champions. How exciting is that? Jeff Jordan Jeves, good evening. Marisol Cabana Reyes, good evening. Who else? I don't know how to pronounce this bazooka from YouTube. Vumgugna. Oh, I think Nico's back. Um,
Hi, Mike Tess.
hello. Hi.
I'm echoing
So
somewhere. Okay.
right. I'll going to repeat my question. I heard the team is planning to release a certain dev's diary sort of documentation and a blog post about the game dev. How can these things help the team improve the communication of the dev progress?
Okay. First, let me just start off by saying it's as if you're not like half responsible for all of those leaks, huh? I heard, he says. Um, pero so dev diaries, first let me explain what dev diaries is supposed to be, right? The idea is to have the developers, because a lot of people they just see all of these posts, and so far the developers are like faceless people, right? um the the breakdown in communication has given our friends the impression that our developers are lazy or they're not doing anything, when the truth is actually a lot of stuff is happening in the background. The problem is just you don't know it, right? It's behind the curtain. So the point of dev diaries is to have the developers themselves talk about their creations to our community. So how does this help? It helps bridge that gap, right? Because a lot of the anxiety of our community is created by supposedly we're not communicating enough or they don't know what's happening. The problem is also there's a lot of information that sometimes is in progress, because it's not like we can show you a half-baked product, right? We don't want to give you the dough, we want to give you the bread. So the best compromise we can come up is to stand next to you while we're watching the oven together, right? So that's dev diaries. We have the developer show you what it might look like behind the scenes to create a game, because a lot of people don't know what it's like to what game development is really all about. And there's also this misconception that we're a AAA company. We're not. I'm pretty sure we're very clear about our communications. Like it's not like we're completely small, right? It's not like we're just one or two people, but it's still we're not Blizzard or other big companies out there. So we can't just really shell out developments uh between weeks, because even big companies like those have it means they've been developing it years before they even announce it. Legit, it takes more than 2 years. Our game is in alpha stage, which means there'd be a lot of testing, a lot of changes, and possibly, but hopefully not, a lot of bugs. But the more bugs you get, the more fixes you can make, the better you prepare for that risk, right? So hopefully that explains a bit of what Dev Diaries is like, but it would be better if we could finally show you that video. Quite excited for that. Pep Talk is the written version of that. So another breakdown in communication I noticed is a lot of our best and most active communities are Discord, TG, sometimes Facebook, but it's not like everyone is watching their Facebook wall 24/7. It's not like everyone is reading the exact same message on TG at that time it was posted, right? So it gets buried under all of that because they're these are really fleeting platforms. So we need a blog or a legit page where someone can just link you and then you can go and read it yourself. You can come back. It's even pin messages are different on TG. It's just really, it's really tiring, I understand, to scroll through 100 or so messages, right? So hopefully Pep Talk would be a venue where you could see some leaks, maybe get excited about things that are coming up. Aside from what Carl earlier mentioned, right, that we're going to have a sort of test server. It's going, so Pep Talk is like the written version of that test server, probably reacting to the test server, explaining a little bit more by somewhere who's someone's on the inside, someone who is, allowed to leak these things. So yeah, that's what those two are.
Okay. And by pep talk, you mean you talking, right?
Mostly, yeah, me being a gossip.
Okay, sounds like fun then. Okay, let me go to my second question. Can you please share what's happening on the DRDC listing plans in CMC and CoinGecko and the plans forward for centralized exchanges and other decentralized exchanges?
Okay. Okay. So let's set the scene first. Let's contextualize, right? So what happened is we need to rebrand face first and foremost. So that definitely has affected our plans. But we've already announced this a number of times before. So it becomes apparent why we need a written area where everyone can just access these things because it got lost in translation. But our founding members have actually already applied for CMC and CG last year, quite a number of months ago, in fact, when the project just started. But we also have to understand that everything was in flux back then. We were just starting to put our foundations as a company. So all of it was happening at the same time. We're registering our company because we want to be, recognized by the government, right? We want to set our foundation strong. So all of it was happening at the same time. So by the time we got to some requirements that CG and CM wanted from us, we couldn't give it to them. For example, and maybe right now that's a small blessing because considering we need to rebrand a website that we would have had, company name that we would have had, game name, project name that we would have had would have changed anyway, which would mean we're kind of like going back and not reinventing the wheel, but just starting over. So it would have been a lot of wasted effort, right? So it gives us better time now that we're more we've got a better identity. We've established our strong foundations now. We know who we are. We have a name, DRDC. We are DRDC. So this would give us we'd be more trustworthy in the eyes of these approvers, right? As for exchanges and these things, we've got our eye on some stuff like buy swap, 1inch, and previously actually we had some progress with we've already announced it before, but it never was followed up on La Token. But again, we had to put those on pause because of certain new events right now. So again, this is another case of me saying a lot of stuff has been happening behind the curtain. We couldn't give it to you guys because it's not safe to share that information yet. For one, security, right? For two, those partners might say, "Oh, nothing is official yet, so definitely you can't announce it yet." But they've been in the works. They could be like 80% done, 40% done. Um, we also are actually eyeing another partner, but Arlen's making that face. we were making, we're eyeing another partner. Words are being exchanged, but we can't announce it officially yet. Just know that P2E guilds are also in our, because I was in charge of doing our master marketing plan, so I know these things, right? So what I can tell you is that we're eyeing the P2E guilds in the Philippines as well. Aside from not just the Philippines, but definitely we're starting with the Philippines because they're the closest, right? So yeah, look forward to that.
Understood, understood. All right, down to my last question for you. Strategic partnership. We all know it's key to any project success, right? Crypto or not. What are the team's considerations when choosing who to partner with? And could you maybe give us a hint, if any?
Okay, looks like I preempted that one with my previous mention. But so what are we look first let's start with identity. So it's a small blessing once again that we have to rebrand because it forced us to some extent to revisit who we are. Because how can you market yourself to someone if you don't know who you are, right? So we revisited our core values, we revisited our identity. It's even something as simple as choosing a name proved hard at first because we didn't know who we were. we lost track of who we were. So what I want to bring up is first two things. One, our core values. We It's always been there. It's just never been set out right. We want to be transparent. We want to be community driven. And we want to be, responsible. We want to be accountable. So these things, they show in the actions we've been doing so far. We got SEC registered. Accountability. We're a proper company. We want to be transparent. We try to communicate not just the wins but also the fails and also the works in progress. We try, right? Granted, some people grumble that, oh, you go silent a number of times. Yes, we acknowledge that, and that's why I'm here, and I'm here to help the team improve that. Actually, a lot of stuff that, if you guys have noticed, we released a feedback form. I think it was in January or December. No, it was in January. I wrote that feedback form. It was me as a marketer trying to understand, okay, where do you guys see us? So I need to know where we are the loudest and where we are the most quiet so we can improve on those weak points, right? So that's the first one. That's our core values. Of course, in partnerships, that's the kind of values we're also looking for. Apart from that, we also have what we call macro campaigns, which is the things our company stands for. So we've got stuff like diversity, right? We're not sure we're a Filipino led project, but we also have team friends and partners who are from other countries or helping us. We're getting consultations from other countries. What else? We want to be sustainable, not just, not just talking money wise, like economy wise, but we also, it's hard right now, right? Because it's not like we're putting things out in plastic or we're sending out products to you guys, but we still want to incorporate that. We want to be eco-friendly. So you might say, wait, crypto and eco-friendly, what? So understandable. But I mean, to be fair, some of these blockchains are moving towards proof of stake rather than proof of work, right? So that's a direction there. And other things is we're partnering up with a SEO expert in the Philippines. So we're also like promoting other Filipino businesses, it's we're basically just fighting for the small guy because we ourselves are the small guy. So yeah, those are some of our macro campaigns. We have other things, of course, again in the vein of diversity, not just in terms of ethnicity. We've also got like um, we want to fight for equality, gender equality stuff. I'm here, right? Gender equality, other things like mental health awareness. But these things have still need to be ironed out before we can get them out. But definitely, you'll be seeing some of those, and those are that's us. That's DRDC.
Strategic. Okay. Why don't we bring back Carl and Jonathan so we could, pick some questions from the live audience, and I'll try to field them to who I think is the most appropriate person to answer. Hi there, Carl. Hi there, Jonathan again.
Hello.
I'll try to
Hey
pick
guys.
questions from the audience, and I'm gonna throw it to you, JP Ferrer Tandok. If the game will depend on Google, will there be any conflicts on the play to earn features? Like, I mean, Google is like against crypto. Please correct me if I am wrong. From JP Ferrer Tandok, if the game will depend on Google, will there be any conflicts on the play to earn features? Like, I mean, Google is like against crypto. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think Carl is the best person to answer this, but Jonathan, you could add later, and so are you, Nicole.
Okay. With regards to that question, yeah, actually, Google is strict with regards to approving or reviewing crypto related games. But we already have that handled already. I mean, yeah. The only thing is that we could always create a separate build when it comes to releasing a standalone APK, or if we're gonna release it on the Google Play Store again. So yeah, there might be some conflicts if we don't follow their rules or policy. But as to this moment, aside from using the old name Droid, with regards to the game, we don't have any problems at all. Yeah. Do you want to add something, Jonathan?
Yeah, sure. From the tech side, there isn't any conflict because the P2E is blockchain handled, which is a separate instance from Google Play Store. So as far as that goes, there isn't any conflict or issue. But as Carl had highlighted, as we upload these versions, they could be sticklers about something, but the core functionality of this is either done on our servers or in a smart contract itself, which is kind of like separates it from any sort of problems that a third party could cause on us.
Okay. Nicole, do you want to add
Yeah.
something?
Nothing that those two have already mentioned. I think it's more of a tech question.
Cool. This one's from Robin Ray Olivar. Hi. Any point you can share on how you're gonna choose the closed alpha testers and when will it start? Hi. Any point you can share how you're gonna choose the closed alpha testers and when will it start? So it's from Robin Ray Olivar. I think Nicole, you could start with this because you're essentially helping Carl on this, and maybe Carl could add something later.
Right. It's a very this idea was very young, right? It's just been a couple of not even a week since this was given to me by Carl. So we still have some definitely some discussions to go through. Nothing final. So if I do say something that might not some people might not like, because I'm pretty sure everyone wants to get in there, right? But think of it as just like we we understand how much everyone's been excited by all of the stuff we've been building up, but then frustrated by this delay once again. So we wanted to give you guys a way to avoid this like in the future, right? Because uh I really in terms of stuff being ready, sometimes we already have the build, it's all there, and we're at the mercy of the approval of these platforms. Understandable. As for the question of why we don't just go solo, like some bigger projects out there that start with an A, it's because we have some features that we already thought up even from the planning stage that we wanted to integrate the payment system. We wanted to make it more accessible is what I'm saying. More secure as well, right? Rather than just have everything on because if it's just our APK, that means y'all are at the mercy of us as the developers. Like anything we wanted to do, it would just be there. Whereas if it was on a platform like this, right? There's that extra layer we have to go through that needs to be approved before, of course not like I'm saying we're planning to do something bad. It's just that it's an extra security blanket for you guys. But that's besides the point. Um I guess yeah, we this is something we wanted to use to give back to you guys to ease that frustration. So obviously, the main target would be the people who have been waiting the longest, the people who have been here supporting us the hardest. Definitely. Does that mean you have to go out and buy DRDC now? I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying we see you guys. We know you. Some of you, you're not even loud. You're just quietly there supporting us. And we really, really appreciate you for that. With the amount of sorry messages I have had to write for Facebook. I am the one writing those messages. So I appreciate that nobody has actually come and with pitchforks at me yet, or so yeah, it's you guys, all of you actually. We still really care about new people, old people, but definitely the people who've been there longest. This is for you guys. Yeah. Carl, any do you like from a tech side? Do you have any
I
input
guess I
on
guess
that?
you yeah, I guess you said it all. Yeah, but this is our way for people like uh, to actually play the game hands on, not just a simple sneak peek, but to let you know that we are really working our really hard to just to give you this game. I mean, yeah, to tell you frankly that our game Spirits of Oria is not just a simple game. It's a vast world with multiple mechanics, multiple gameplay, multiple a lot of things is inside there. So it's a big plan. So it's a long road, but yeah, we're a resilient bunch, and with hard work and accountability, we'll get you there. Promise. Thank you, guys.
Um, and Robin says thanks for the honest and heartfelt answer. uh, okay, so from Igu, what does the new DRDC stands for? And will the rebranding affect the completed CERTIC audit? Again, from Igu CJL, what does the new DRDC stands for? And will the rebranding affect the completed CERTIC audit? So let's tackle the latter part first. Jonathan, do you wanna take that?
Yeah, sure. So, the rebranding itself does not have an effect on the current audit. That code is on chain, actually can't be changed. So there's no effect on that there. We will most likely take this opportunity to do some changes that should happen. Some changes that have been talked of happening, and this would basically trigger a second like audit of a whole other smart contract. That would be the only effect, not a huge effect, kind of planned. But as far as the current audit, there is zero of effect on it.
Okay. Thanks. For
Sure.
the former, Nicole, can you take this?
Okay. Uh, Context time. There was a bunch of meetings inwardly that happened after the reality that we needed to rebrand came out. Let's first revisit why we were called. Am I allowed to say the word even? I don't know. So the D that must not be named. Um, why we were called that, the robot, is because uh we had a vision. This one started from the founders. Actually, this is one of the things we've adapted from the founders, if not expanded massively on. We have a vision where we're marrying technology and real life impact, like it improving the lives of people. And uh to a smaller extent, maybe we also wanted, because it's a Filipino-led project, we wanted to bring the Philippines in the forefront of this technology, right? Me as a gamer, I was very excited by the idea of blockchain affecting the gaming industry because it really shook it up. Like there's this industry, blockchain gaming specifically, is less than what, 2 years. um so it really adds something new. It adds a whole new layer. It brings the idea of the metaverse and all that utopian stuff coming out. But so yeah, that's the identity, and that's why they chose the robot, the D that must not be named. So coming back to DRDC, the D that must not be called. So coming back to DRDC, we had a lot of stuff we did. For one, we didn't want to change the name of the coin, so we decided to stick with DRDC. For another, when we say we are DRDC, we're also literally saying we are the coin, because we're a community led and community driven project. Anything we do affects the value of our coin. Even you guys. That's why we really appreciate it when someone comes in and then they see we say, hey, could you please fill up our feedback form? Because that helps us improve, that helps the project move forward, that helps us know what we're doing wrong. If we're doing anything wrong, catch it early and fix it. So that's one. Literally, we're referring to the coin now, DRDC. That's why DRDC. Of course, we wanted to be fancy, and we came up with other acronyms, right? I'm not sure if we have finalized anything, but definitely we'll be releasing announcements about it once it's final. But another idea that Carl actually floated was digital reality, which is kind of like an umbrella term for AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, which are the two things a lot of marketers are fighting over, would be the biggest impact in the metaverse idea. Getting kind of technical here, aren't I? But basically just saying, yeah, that's it. That's our vision, where technology will have a physical impact on the real world. So, right? So that's also what the idea of P2E stands for. I like play and earn better, but You're just playing a game, but the game is rewarding you for the time that you put into it. So it really shook up the industry. And that's what we stand for. Using technology and innovation to improve the lives of of Filipinos and everyone else.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure if you would like to add something, Carl, but if any, please do and answer this next question from Ego still. Are there any activities to get people engaged like mini games, daily quests, etc. with the upcoming build? Still from Ego, are there any activities to get people engaged like mini games, daily quests, etc. with the upcoming build?
Oh well, hi Igu. Good question. Well, tell you frankly, we already added, I guess, few selected mini games already in the game. Uh, I'm sorry, but I'm not just allowed to show it to you guys right now because we'll show you that on a separate platform. So yeah, we'll have a series of mini games and events inside the game as well as the quest system. You'll be interacting with several NPC and of course a storyline as well for in exchange for certain rewards. So we expect that I will be answering that later on in our I think on that diaries and on Pep Talk as well, right? So yeah, stay tuned, guys.
How about the DRDC meaning? Do you want to add something on what Pep has just mentioned, or do you want to leave it like that?
Well, yeah, I will. Digital reality is like the keyword digital reality is like VR or AR actually. So it's kind of relates to what we're trying to create right now. Kind of relates with the multiverse or the metaverse right now. So yeah, and it's kind of relates also for the future plans that we have that we're gonna divulge later on. I think Nicole already said what is already needed to be said.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh wait.
Okay.
To add up, Chief. Hey, just to add, we're not really as a company planned. I mean, talk about the previous days. We're not really going to the word P2E. They just play to earn. We are going to a hybrid way. We just play and earn. Just like what I've always said to my previous podium is that we're not really following any NFT other NFT company games out there. We're creating our own path. We're in. We wanna check the side of the crypto space and the non-crypto space. So we're the crypto gamers and the non-crypto gamers as well. So yeah, that's a big plan. That's it. Thank you guys.
Play and earn. Play and
Yeah.
earn. Fantastic. All right. I mean, conscious of the time, I think we're down to our last question. So who's this lucky community member? All right. This one's from Alex Legaspi. It's very long. Being part of this project's community, I have been quiet all along and have been observing what's going on. Yes, it is slow, but I truly trust the project as it's the most transparent one out of the other NFT game projects. Thank you. There's no denying that the team is tight on manpower. My question is, will there be a plan for a team expansion around this year? Because I believe more credible people means more work to be done. But then again, speed is not a factor of being successful. So I'm gonna repeat it again. Will there be a plan for a team expansion around this year? And that came from Alex Legaspi from Facebook. Carl, do you want to answer that? You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. Hi, Alex. It's a very good question. But yes, my answer is definitely. As of this moment, we're still gathering good talents. We're still looking for good talents to join our team so that we could deliver a much more better product to you guys. I mean, not in a faster way, but in a more reasonable time frame. Yeah. Anyone, guys, you
Um,
want to add? Sorry.
Jonathan, do you want to add as we expand your tech department?
Yeah, I think he had it spot on, Carl. As we go forward, we are going to look at how to efficiently bring all of this to the players to the planet as quick as possible. I think for what we have currently, we do a fantastic job. I'll give a shout out to our small team that does just absolutely fantastic. So I mean, as we expand, I mean, things can only go up from there. So I mean, I could see it happening.
Great. All right. Do you wanna share your final thoughts, guys? And since you are already up there, Jonathan, why don't we start it with you?
Yeah, sure, sure. So appreciate y'all joining us. As we've kind of said, our big thing is we want to be transparent to the players. We That's why we have our chats in TG, our podiums. Transparency is a huge thing here, kind of falling in line with the ethos of a decentralized company. And that transparency will help us tie in this really strong urge to get the players involved in the creation of all of this. So, our passion for the transparency side will facilitate smoothly the ideas coming from the players getting translated into the actual product. That's it.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Appreciate you guys.
Nicole?
Okay. Um, First, let me just reiterate, I really do really want to thank all of you for your patience with me, right? Especially because I'm partly a lot of the messages that need apologies. I write them and I really appreciate the support that I've been getting back, right? So it really drives home that the idea we wanted where we're creating this project to be community driven, you guys are still there, the community is still there, but I hope that we could, just as you guys want us to improve and we are doing our best to improve, we also want to help our community improve and grow. It's a symbiotic relationship. It shouldn't just be one sided. It shouldn't just be you who's supporting us, but us who's supporting you as well. But in order for that to happen, I really do encourage everyone to, like, because I understand it could be kind of intimidating when you're put on the spot when we come up and ask you, like, okay, give us a suggestion or tell us something, right? But the reason we have our feedback forums is specifically for that. We need to communicate. It's a two-way communication, works that way. It's two-way, right? So we also need to hear from you guys. Aside from just, we hear a lot of you guys in the TG, we hear a lot of you guys in the Discord on comments, but when it comes down, we're like, okay, here's a feedback form. Tell us what you think. We get like 30 responses in the span of 2 months. Not pointing fingers. I'm just saying I really appreciate what we're trying to do here, and I want to bring back the community in our community drivenness. Yeah.
Appreciate that, Nicole. Thank you. Carl?
All right. Yeah, I would like to thank first the community who stood still since day one. To the people that supported us way back. I mean, until now. Yeah, to the people who always watch our podium. Yeah, we the DRDC are grateful having you guys with us. Apart from that, I mean, we the DRDC will keep innovating the innovation of the products and of the services that we give you guys, the community. I know it's not that easy. It's really hard actually, given the manpower that we have. I mean, but we have the best people, the skill set in the team right now. So yeah, great things, great product, great goal. I think takes a lot of we'll have a lot of mistakes and failures. I know we have to accept that. I mean, but the good thing is that we don't easily give up, and then we are resilient, and we focus on the problem, on the solution, not the problem. Sorry. So yeah, moving forward, yeah, we the DRDC are just doing our best to create our product, and being, at the end of the day, we could all benefit to it from it. Thank you.
Cheers, man. So, transparency, community driven innovation. Guys, your stewards. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Nicole. Let me close. The management team, being the stewards of the organization, they're basically accountable to the board, right? Who in turn is accountable to the shareholders. But as a community driven project, I'd say they're also accountable to the community. The principle of stewardship revolves around scarcity. And scarcity is an everyday problem we encounter. We just can't escape that. It's pretty much like debt and taxes. Our time, money, and energy, they're all limited. We are limited. But how we maximize our strengths and how we collaborate for our weaknesses, that's how we are going to be measured in terms of how good a steward we are. The management team wouldn't be able to function well if the partners, and that includes the community. So, the community, if the community working with them aren't knowledgeable on good stewardship principles too, right? So, I'm gonna cut this story short and say, on behalf of Team DRDC, we'll be doing our best with what we have, and that's why we are prioritizing. So when we tell you we're prioritizing XYZ and ABC can wait because we think XYZ is more important, more urgent, and we couldn't do everything at the same time, we are hoping for your understanding. But if you think we're wrong, please reason with us. Please reason with us. This has been your GBA R&B saying, this project is us. This project is ours. We are DRDC. Bye. Have a good one.